Hi, I'm Davy, and I'm awesome. And welcome to Davy's Awesome Movies, where I review the styles of movies that I love, the alternative, B-rated, cult-style flicks. And today, the movie that I am reviewing is one of those really great movies that just slipped through the cracks. This movie was made in 1991, but in 91 it was only released in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It wasn't released everywhere else until 92. And it was directed by Joan Micklin Silver and produced by Gerald T. Olson. Written by Mark Goddard, made and distributed by MG Entertainment, Perlman Productions, and New Line Cinema. Ladies and gentlemen, a movie that most of you have probably never heard of. Big girls don't cry, they get even. The movie opens with the lead character and narrator through the movie, Laura, played by Hilary Wolf, talking about her parents.
Once upon a time, my mom and dad got married and lived happily ever after. Yeah, right.
She talks about her many stepmothers.
You can just call them the lost bimbos. I do.
A little harsh, but okay. Then she talks about her stepdad.
Next, Mom meets Keith Powers. Anyway, he's a rich widower with 3 kids and 2 Porsches.
Sounds like Mommy hit the jackpot. She also goes into her step-siblings and half-siblings, but, let's not get ahead. We'll get there. But apparently of all of her many stepmothers, where she calls them lost bimbos, there was one that she really liked. Her name was Barbara.
Then Dad gets unlucky, gets caught cheating, and gets kicked out.
Some people love too much. As far as her dad's girlfriend,
she's half my dad's age, they're living together, and yep, you guessed it, with twins.
You see, in 91, all this hodgepodge family stuff was actually kind of weird. I remember in that time going to elementary school and being told, hey, be nice to the kids who have divorced parents. They're rare. Now, it's kind of gone the reverse. Now this is normal. My kids are kind of weird because my wife and I have only been married to each other and only had kids with each other. Sometimes I feel like I should divorce my wife just to help them fit in a little bit. But then I remember they are my kids and they take after me, so there's no chance of that anyway.
Did you know it's estimated by the year 2000, 1 out of every 3 people will be a member of my family?
So by your math, my kids are related to you, even though my wife and I are not. So now it's morning.
Oh, morning. I had this terrible dream.
Was it this?
You put your pound down and thrust your pelvis.
Because that still gives me nightmares. Now let's meet her stepsister.
Where's my blue cosmetic face mask?
That's Corinne, played by Jenny Lewis, who was also in The Wizard. Then her half-brother Sam, played by Ben Savage, who most of you know from Boy Meets World, or as I call him, the one who wasn't Ryder Strong.
I tested it for dioxins.
In this, he's a genius.
That doesn't clog your pores, does it?
She's not, but she has been in a movie with both him and his older brother Fred, so she's got that going.
10 hot!
That's Laura's stepbrother Kurt. He thinks he's in the military.
He's almost 13 and he still plays with his G.I. Joes. Need I say more?
Don't you judge me. Then there's also her oldest stepbrother, Josh. His dad and him are on the outs. So that's everyone. Well, in that house.
Tweety bird.
I'm doing a thesis on violence in the socialization process.
Aw, kid, just watch the cartoons, because you have the luck of being alive when they were still funny. Laura's mom is actually closer to her stepdaughter Corinne than she is to Laura. But that is still creepy.
Joan asked Corinne to the dance.
Finally, an end to my sleepless nights.
Is it weird that I relate to that young girl Laura? Because that's pretty much the reaction I would have given. And then we finally actually meet Josh, and he goes to see his dad Keith, and he's not happy.
You don't even know what today is, do you?
It's his mom's birthday, but in reverse. It's her death birthday.
We don't care if you get it.
By the way, even though Josh is technically correct to be upset, he's still very whiny. Joshes are like that. Laura is in class and listening to one of her fellow students share about her step-family.
The whole house is so full of love.
That's not all it's full of.
Again, that's very much a me reaction.
5 years from now, she climbs a tower and starts picking people off with an M16.
Then we meet Laura's dad. Her real dad, David. He's an artist living with his pregnant girlfriend, Stephanie.
I really like it. Reminds me of a dream I once had.
I know I'm no artist, but
That's just a blank canvas.
okay, then it wasn't just me. And now we hear Laura's thoughts on her dad.
He's almost 40, looks like he's 30, thinks like he's 20, and acts like he's 10.
Okay, maybe I'm a little bit like her dad too. Except, let's face it, even though I'm almost 40, I don't look like I'm 30. Heck, if I shave this off, I get carted to buy NyQuil. David calls his wife Barbara.
Is that better?
She's still mad about the whole cheating and getting a girl pregnant with twins thing. Women. But he talks to his little girl Jessie, who is also one of Laura's half-siblings. And she's cute. Then he finally talks to Barbara a little bit more, and she brings up his girlfriend.
She's my friend.
Who's having your twins?
Closer than any friends I've ever had. Josh stops by the house. Well, by stopping by, I mean he breaks in.
Doing here?
I just thought I'd stop by, see how it's going.
Then use the door.
Duh.
Then Kurt comes in.
I had orders not to let you in.
I'm already in.
Good point.
I know 6 ways to restrain a man with my little finger.
Josh only needs one.
Oh, 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 oh!
Laura, could you get that door?
You see, it's like I constantly say, less is more. Josh goes around telling everybody about his new job and home at the lake, and Laura wants to go with him.
For starters, it's not even legal. I could be arrested.
A little foreshadowing. Kurt comes back out.
People twisting people's little fingers, now that hurts!
That's Laura's mom, Melinda's good china.
It's only one plate.
Shot, Gomer.
Oh! Yes! Yes! When Melinda gets home,
My china, my beautiful china.
maybe it's a guy thing, but I really never understood people who displayed plates. Like maybe commemorative plates, like the ones that had like Elvis on them or something, but like just plates because they look nice? Who cares? Is anybody actually impressed by that? Like, I've never gone over to somebody's house, seen their display of plates and been like, ooh, could really eat cake off of those.
You know, well, just don't stand there. Punish someone.
How about the dummy with the BB gun? But instead, he punishes Laura.
That is it. No Hawaii.
Rich people punishments.
I hope you choke on poi.
Yeah, Laura, you let him have it.
I hope Don Ho's show really sucks.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, I understand you're angry, but don't say something you're gonna regret. Laura goes to read through her cherished book of memorable quotes and makes a decision.
Insist upon yourself.
Meaning? Oh, okay. So running away. Where?
Are we there yet?
She snuck into Josh's truck. This was filmed in Mammoth Lakes, California. Lake Tahoe's better. But hey, it's still nice, and Laura thinks it's beautiful.
Don't get used to it.
Josh isn't happy. Keith and Melinda have now noticed that Laura is gone.
You don't think it's my fault, do you?
So how about we look at the next clip?
Of course. That's it. She's with Josh.
Keith figured it out. Josh and Laura spend the day bonding, and then Laura all of a sudden gets serious.
But what am I gonna do when I grow up?
Judo. I'm serious. The actress Hilary Wolf didn't really do much after this. The last acting role she ever did was reprising her role of Megan, Kevin McAllister's sister in Home Alone 2, and then that was the last movie she ever did. After that, though, she did go on to study judo and even become part of the Olympic women's judo team, so...
In my future job, am I or am I not wearing a paper hat?
For God's sakes, girl, if you're that worried about a career, just look at it this way. You're very sarcastic, so go and say crap on the internet.
It could be as simple as the way you look at the world.
You can get paid for that?
I sure hope so. Sam calls Laura's father, David.
Hello, Mr. Chardoff. You don't know me, but
Hi, Sam.
Yeah, for a genius, that was really bad. The gang shows up at the lake. Okay, we get it. You're rich.
Laura!
There she is.
She ain't giving up that easy.
Laura!
Josh and Keith chase her as much as they can. But she gets away.
I know what you're thinking. No money, no place to go. The girl's out of her mind.
Actually, I was wondering if when you close the fridge, does the light stay on?
Thanks. I appreciate the support.
Anytime. While Keith and Josh are bickering,
Hi, everybody.
David and Stephanie show up. But that's not all.
Look, she remembers me.
Lucky guess.
So the gang's all here. Well, except Laura. It turns out Josh was the one that called Barbara because Laura respects her.
I wrote a haiku about respect. And the moon.
You sure did. Everyone goes to look for Laura, but Melinda stays behind and gets chased by a bee. A very persistent bee. And this bee gets what he wants.
Not the bees! Ah!
They all talk about what they should do, and Corinne just wants to leave. Until
We have to stay.
Horny Teenagers. Laura then meets this family.
Are we close enough?
Don't move a muscle.
They're a nice, wholesome family on a road trip in an RV. They ask Laura where she's going.
Oh, I'm on my way to my grandmother's house.
Sure. Laura tells them that her grandmother lives in Bishop, and they insist that Laura rides with them to Bishop. Then they introduce themselves. They're the Smiths.
Hi, I'm Harmony. I'm Ethan. I'm Shaggy. I'm Ashton. I'm Mikey. I'm Riley.
Man, your parents must really like sex. Laura tells the Smiths what happened to her parents.
After the explosion, they searched and searched for my parents' bodies, but
She's lying.
All right, kids. Who wants orange Whipple?
Ooh, me! After they talk to the police about the runaway teen, they all decide that it's time to figure out where they're going to be staying. Stephanie, though, asks Josh to drive her around to help settle the twins in her stomach.
You're so sweet. What are you doing in this family?
The only places for them to stay are all connected together.
Keith? We're sharing a bathroom with my ex-husband.
Well, to make sure to flush.
Oh, no.
I'm so sorry.
And control yourselves. Sam and Kurt, though, have to stay in the back of Josh's truck. Kurt starts talking to Sam about how they should go out and look for Laura.
I mean, your brains, my warrior instincts. We couldn't lose.
This should end well. Mr. Smith is not buying Laura's story.
Well, your parents didn't die in a chemical weapons explosion in Libya.
Because basically he's not a complete idiot. He's figured out that she's a runaway. Then call the police. He doesn't know. She sticks to her story and he says, okay, we'll talk in the morning. Back at the lake, Stephanie can't sleep.
I felt like talking.
Go for it, dude. It's not like she can get pregnant. Laura decides it's time for her to leave the Smiths. Well, at least she left a note. Call the police! Laura goes to get a bunch of snacks.
And that'll be $2.98.
Dude, nowadays you couldn't even get the bag of chips for that. But Laura tries to haggle because she's only got 14 cents.
If you can't pay for it, put it back.
But just then,
I'll take cash.
cash! Not cash!
what a twist! But there were cops there. They were there looking for Laura, but then this happened, so they hightail it out of there.
This is great!
Yeah, it's great, you're a felon! Then back at the lake, everybody notices that Kurt and Sam are gone.
You lose kids like car keys.
Not to mention Laura's brother keeps getting left home alone.
We don't care if you get it.
The men get ready to go leave and find Kurt and Sam, but then little Jessie starts freaking out.
Oh, God. All right. Just go on, okay? I'm staying.
So David changes his mind. Okay, here's the thing. Little kids are not great actors. It takes a while for them to kind of learn their craft. So what bothers me about this scene is what did they do to get that little girl to freak out like that? But David is shocked by this.
I've seen her do the same thing over a fudgesicle.
I think every parent can relate to that. David and Barbara talk about him maybe being able to come back home as soon as he works things out. Back to Laura and her new friends, they're trying to get the trunk open to the stolen car.
Please.
Oh, leave it alone.
Hey! What are you doing?
But what if she gets cold? Corinne finally gets the attention of that boy that she's been lusting over.
Been looking for you.
He invites her to a party on a raft, so she rushes to go tell her stepmom.
Mom, aren't you excited?
Seriously?
Just can't take it.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's tough on her. You know, she's wondering where her daughter is, hoping she's still okay.
Put some of that calamine lotion on it. It'll stop it from itching.
Jeez, you're dumb. Laura and her new thugs get that trunk open finally, but it's empty. There's nothing in there. So the girl, unsatisfied with the $60 they got from the cash register, takes Laura's bag. Not cool. Very cool. So Laura goes off on her own.
Gotta have a left hook to make it in this world.
Good thing she's a second-degree black belt. Kurt and Sam are lost.
Duh!
Maybe we'll get lucky and Laura will rescue us.
Keith and Josh find them, but sadly it's right after Sam found this.
Kurt, if I move, it'll bite me.
But Kurt musters up all the bravery he can and sneaks up behind the Rattler.
Hey, Kurt! I think he's dead.
Go Kurt! And see, Laura, maybe playing with G.I. Joes until you're like 13 pays off.
But it's a common problem in life-threatening situations.
You peed in your pants.
I would have too.
Same here.
They get cleaned up, and Kurt tells his dad that he doesn't want to be a soldier anymore. He doesn't like being in danger, he just likes to pretend that he's in danger.
I think I want to be a movie star.
Well, after this, he did some stuff on the Wonder Years, and that was really about it. So, good job. But now when you come to think of it, 2 actors in this movie have done stuff with both Ben and Fred Savage.
Oh, I know you're upset, soldier, but
Will you stop calling me that?
Kurt makes it abundantly clear.
I quit. Sir.
Sam takes this moment to warm up to his dad, asks him if he'll take him fishing. His dad says sure, and he says, "Is it hard?"
and I'll show you. It'll be fun.
Excuse me? When Corinne gets to the party, the guy she likes introduces her to his little brother.
Foxy Mama, we meet at last.
Burn! Yeah, she had to cool off after that. Burn! Stephanie is again talking to Josh.
Why don't you kiss me?
He tells her because she's taken.
I'm busy. Not taken.
Whatever helps you sleep at night. Well, kids, when I met you, your mother was 8 months pregnant with you and still living with your father, who is also my stepsister's dad, so good luck on turning out normal. Laura decided to go back, and is shocked to see that everyone is there.
Am I hallucinating?
Yeah, turns out your family actually loves you, so quit being so friggin' whiny. But before Laura gets there, the police show the family what they found. Laura's sweater with blood all over it. A parent's nightmare. Josh sneaks up behind Laura as she's watching all this and tells her it's time for her to go back and that she needs to stop running.
In 5 years, they'll be your family. In 10 years, they'll be your family.
Do the math.
So she goes back
Laura!
and makes her rounds through everybody until she finally gets to her mother.
I owe you a nice long talk.
People start to leave. Not her, but David's cool with it. And even Keith gets emotional. Well, he's trying. As far as the stepkids,
Why torture yourself when life will do it for you? Who said that? I did.
so there you have it. That's Big Girls Don't Cry, They Get Even. This was a really great movie, but there's a reason most of you have never heard of it. This movie had a $1 million budget and did tank by only doing around $200,000 in the box office. But the thing about that, it was only put out in a few theaters. Most of us who eventually saw it thought it was just a made-for-TV or made-for-VHS movie. And the thing was, it had no chance to become successful because the studio literally only made one trailer for the movie that you only saw if you had the VHS copy of either My Girl or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, which my brother and I both had. Both loved those movies. In fact, I think it's because of My Girl that Josh has this problem.
Not the bees! Ah!
But all kidding aside, that was the only way you saw the trailer for this, but there was another problem with it. The only trailer for this movie that was only in those two copies of VHS tape advertised it under its original title, Step Kids. So most of us never knew there was such a movie called Big Girls Don't Cry, They Get Even. They last minute decided to change it to that, but not advertise it. And that's just the thing, is your product can be the greatest product in the world, but it's not going to matter if people don't know it exists. The majority of people who have seen this movie give it high praises, me included. But the thing was, I remember wanting to see this movie after seeing the trailer, the same trailer on both tapes, and then years later, not finding this movie, never hearing about this movie, forgetting that it existed. One day my brother and I decided to watch Ninja Turtles 2 and go like, oh yeah, that movie, it's got to be out by now, it's been years, let's go look for it. And we couldn't find it because we were looking for the movie Step Kids, the movie it was advertised as. It wasn't until a couple of years after that that we were flipping channels, had HBO at the time, and happened to find a movie called Big Girls Don't Cry, They Get Even, but go, wait a minute, this looks familiar, this looks like that movie Step Kids, and realize that that is now the name of this movie. So even my brother and I, who wanted to see this movie and looked for this movie, found it on accident, which is really the only way anybody finds this movie. You either saw it when it was playing on HBO, or you probably saw it when it was playing on TBS for a while. But again, if you saw it, you loved it, which is why I highly recommend that you check it out. See, in this day and age where we have all these hipsters finding old forgotten movies and turning them into cult classics, please, hipsters, do your job and make this one a cult classic, because it is a great movie. Highly recommend. So there you have it, that's my movie review this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit that little bell so you get notifications for when I post new videos, and leave a comment. Tell me if you've seen Big Girls Don't Cry, They Get Even, and tell me if you loved it or not. But for God's sakes, go find this movie. Love you guys.